You're still watching Business Africa Live on BTA, and at this juncture, we're going to talk about mining. I have two distinguished personalities in the studio with me. We're going to talk about the complexities of the industry, of mining industry, especially coming in the wake of the 7th WaCA Mining 2015 Summit, the West African and Central African Mining Summit and Exposition, which started on the 20th and ending on Thursday. Welcome back to the show, and I would like to introduce to you my guests. First, to my extreme right, ladies first, they say. So, Maggie Tan is the CEO of Magenta Global PT Limited. Maggie, you're welcome to be
Thank you.
Okay, so a very favorite face on the show, of course, and in the media in Ghana, Dr. Tony Oben is the CEO of the Minerals Commission. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, I would like to start with you first, Maggie. I mean, just tell us a little about the WaCA Mining 2015. What is it all about?
WaCA Mining is basically a platform to bring together policymakers and the industry stakeholders together to look at the issues and challenges facing the mining sector, specifically on the West and Central Africa. I think the region is blessed with a lot of mineral deposits, but the region is also handicapped by a lot of problems, a lot of infrastructure bottlenecks, problems with regards to licenses, problems with regards to financing, problems, with mineral prices and lack of investment coming in. So this platform, brings together the different parties.
Why would you bring the West Africa and Central Africa region together on a common platform like this?
I think basically we feel that the region has a lot of similarities. There are a lot of mineral deposits. They face the same challenges. And Ghana being a gateway, we believe Ghana is really quite an important hub for the region. So by bringing people together to share policies, framework, to share experiences, move the industry and create, I would say, sustainability and help to move the industry forward.
This is the seventh
yeah.
series.
That's right. The first one was actually started in Cote d'Ivoire, but ever since we've moved it to Accra, and with the support of the Minerals Commission and the Ministry of Land and Natural Resources, the event has grown from strength to strength.
What are we looking at for this particular team?
This year the team is on resilience, building resilience and how to inspire winning strategies. As you know, the mining industry has gone through a really difficult patch over the past few years, and the industry needs to create more buzz, needs to look at how to rethink strategies, how to manage risks. So that's what that's what the team is for this year, to encourage.
And I believe you've outlined some important stakeholders to speak. Who are some?
That's right. We have got the mining houses, the new one, the Goldfields, Golden Star Resources, the big players in the industry. But at the same time, also we are bringing in other perspective. For instance, legal perspective, financing perspective, technology perspective, how to deal with all the different areas which impact on the whole value chain for the mining sector.
Well, Doc, you have been scheduled to speak at the summit. Your topic was policy challenges for the mining sector. Now, when it comes to mining, there are a myriad of problems and challenges. And I would first like to know from you, do you still stand by what you said in the past, that the mining sector needs a revenue management law?
Well, thanks for asking. I recall saying that and advocating that when I was, one would say, at the other side of the table. Personally, I believe that would be the way to go, especially if you want to assure transparency in revenue management and all that. Many people are so interested and passionate about the extraction and use of their natural resources, because everybody wants to lay claim to the natural resources of their country, especially even in their region. So the way you receive the benefit and the way you manage the benefit can create all kinds of perceptions. So for me, having a more transparent management approach which will indicate how much money was received in the sector and how it was used to benefit Ghanaians, would be the way to go. And the oil industry that came late to Ghana have led the way. So at the time when I was advocating this, when I was at the chamber largely, that was the feeling that I had, that it would be a good thing to do. Personally, I haven't changed that feeling. I think it's a good thing to consider, but we need to look at how, the details in trying to do that. What are the implications? What are the logistical implications? What are the regulatory implications and all that?
Having come all the way over 100 years in mining, and someone will say it's long overdue. I mean, do you think that bringing it out now would actually go out to please the stakeholders?
Let me say that the oil industry actually had to learn from insights. They had other people to follow from. We have other examples, and the mining industry has been there for much longer than the oil industry, and especially in Ghana. There have been various issues relating to oil industry elsewhere, where the perception is that resources have not been properly managed, and therefore a lot of other policy systems have come in to try and address that. So I think there's the issue of the Petroleum Revenue Management Fund thing is a product of the perception that, or even the reality that, some countries have not managed their resources very well. Mining started not as an organized activity. It started as individuals going to look for well digging and all that. Oil, because of the nature of it, has always been a formalized activity where you need a lot of investment upfront to do that. I mean, I'm sure your history in Ghana will tell you that our Ghanaian prospectors, I mean, the traditional prospectors went out there, they dug holes, got the gold, and some of them used that to make jewelry, not only for themselves, but as gift to the chiefs, or used that to even pay their debt, the debt they owed. So if you look back into history, that's what it was. So nobody really had to be concerned about managing the revenues until it became formalized. And then, like I was saying this morning, there were various stages in our mining history where at a point in time it was controlled by colonial regime, where the policy was more how to fit into the colonial system, how to generate revenue for the colonial system, how to address challenges in the colonial system. And I made mention of the manganese mines in Ghana. Whilst we knew the deposits, availability of the deposit, the mining of manganese did not come until there was a Second World War, and they needed manganese to blend with iron to get the steel and all that. So really, it wasn't because the colonial masters at that time loved Ghana so much. They wanted Ghana to produce manganese to support an external system. So if you look at this, and then if you look at post-colonial time, just after colonial period, and we got into independence, we were so euphoric, and we decided that now we're going to control the mines ourselves. All the old private mines must be state-owned, and we had all this state gold mining system, which worked well for some time, and then after a short while, it collapsed again.
About this revenue mining law, I mean, already the Petroleum Revenue Management Law has begun witnessing problems, challenges, even in people calling for a review of the law in itself. I mean, you don't think this one will...
I am not officially advocating it now for my new, responsibilities now. But it's something that I personally believe in. So let me not create the impression that we are actually going for Minerals Revenue Management Law. I personally believe in it, especially when I was at the other side, and I haven't lost my belief in that. But that is not my remit at the moment. So
let's come to the real fact of the case. I mean, when you were there, I mean, you've already outlined your topic. What did you touch on actually on this particular?
Yes, we looked at how policies have helped shape the mining industry in Ghana. And as I indicated, we looked at policies from the pre-colonial era. If you look at from the even 15th centuries down to maybe the colonial period, you see how much gold has been produced, at least by the records that we have. We see that between 1443, and then I believe 1600, Ghana was believed to have produced about 8 million ounces of gold. The figure is debatable now, but that's the estimate, which is around. And then you go beyond that, maybe during the colonial era, the policies that were made, what was the basis, what was it set to achieve. And then we looked at, even after independence, what was the nature of our mining policy? There was more to get revenue, more to maybe create some employment, and then to fit Ghanaians into positions that the colonial masters occupied. We wanted to control our own business, so much of our policy was to nationalize, to make sure we were at the helm of affairs. Whether that worked for us is there to be understood, because you would realize that from thence on, most of the mining operations became dilapidated, equipment got very, very old, there was lack of investment in those sectors, so policies had to change. So in 1983, when the government of, I think the PNDC came to power, and I mean they came earlier, but around that time, I think the only solution was to look for a kind of economic policy that will address the malaise of the economy. And mining was targeted as an area that will give quick returns. I think it was mining cocoa and timber, but mining so much to give the quick returns. And the policy objective was largely to get investment, to rehabilitate the old mines, to divest government interest in some of the old mines and all that. Now, the results are there to be seen. I think one of the major benefits, one of the major effects of policy in our country is policies on mining. You could see that immediately investment started flowing in. And at that time, Ghana the investment rate in the country was about -16. And then it changed quickly. And between 1983 and 2014, Ghana has received over $15 billion in investment in the mining sector, which is the leading sector that has attracted investment.
But you realize that with all these good things that you're talking about, still, when you go to the mining areas, they have benefited little. And people are still calling.
Exactly.
WaCA, so many NGOs
exactly.
calling for.
No, there's always the challenge of balancing the requirement for investment and also meeting the need of the people. And again, the policies, even in the post-1980 era, was not to make mining a developmental agent, which is where we have lost as a country for a long time. Mining was seen as where we can get revenue. So if you look at the revenue, mining and its effect on revenue has been increasing since the policy came up. And in fact, in 2012, I think the mining alone contributed about 28% of the local revenue that generated. Mining alone contributed about 40% of foreign exchange that was generated. So in terms of those microeconomic things, mining was doing that. But whether it was translating into improvement in the lives of the people generally, it is debatable. It is actually debatable. On the surface of it, you will say it has done worse. But if you go factually, it may not be so. I mean, it may not be so, but I don't think this is a platform.
Maybe that is where a mining law, revenue law, would help, because it will direct which areas of development that mining revenue should go into.
Yeah, but again, we may be narrowing ourselves again into the money, the revenue area. If we looked at mining as an agent of development, we would not be focusing 100% on revenue. We would say the presence of a mine, how does it spend other development?
Exactly.
How does mining lead to the establishment of other industries within the area? How does it lead to improvement in the lives of the people? Rather than how does it generate revenue? This is an old school approach which we have followed up until now. Now, it took us so long for us to have local content law in 2012. And it's not Ghana alone. It is not Ghana. Don't blame Ghana, because Ghanaians, we want to hit ourselves hard when others are praising us. But the truth of the matter is that we didn't have local content, even though some leaders, Kwame Nkrumah, actually had, that man, and your man Lee Kuan Yew.
Oh, yeah.
You think they are not human beings, they are angels, because he saw that. He saw that and even advocated for the establishment of what do you call it, a refinery in Takwa. You know, people may debate the economic basis, but I think the idea of adding value was really paramount to him.
I'll come back to you. Maggie, is mining all about gold? Because we in Ghana, we hear so much about gold. And I know we have various mining, minerals like manganese, bauxite.
That's right.
You know, iron and things like that, but we don't talk about it.
It shouldn't be about gold. It should be really about the industry itself. You know,
untapped.
I guess that I guess because gold is Ghana is the second largest gold producer in Africa. Because of that, gold took priority, but it shouldn't be. Mining should be an industry, and mining should be looking at as an integrated activity, like what Dr. Tony said. Mining should look at should be generating infrastructure developments. It should be contributing to employment.
That's right.
It should elevate the education.
Exactly.
It should create a next generation of mining engineers. It should create healthcare activities as well, to support the whole community. So our view really is that, or my view is that mining is really an activity. It's an economic activity. It's not just about gold.
Now, let's draw some kind of similarities or differences between West African mining and Central Africa. You have been in information gathering and so forth. I mean, how different is it from...
Right, I guess it's all about policies as well.
Okay.
It's about how the respective governments craft the policies to develop that sector. You find that there are different policy frameworks. There are. I guess it's also dependent on the stability of the government. So all this, the political will.
So we just take your neck out.
Yeah.
You just take your neck out to tell us whether mining in Central African region.
I think I shouldn't put myself put my foot in the mouth now.
I know.
But if we look at West Africa, of course, Ghana is the most progressive, the most innovative in terms of coming up with laws and framework. You have got Senegal is not too bad as well. So you have got countries that are really trying to innovate, move forward. There are challenges. There are challenges for all all the countries. So I wouldn't say the Central African is lacking behind. Yeah.
I know. Now, Doc, once again, let's come back to another thorny issue: small scale mining and its challenges and the dangers and the controversy surrounding them. What do you make of the small scale mining in Ghana?
Okay. Before I come to small scale mining, let me just quickly chip into this issue of focusing on gold.
Yes.
In fact, this morning in my presentation, I spent so much time on the ills of focusing exclusively on gold, and I use terms like where price is good and sexy and all that, and we're all laughing. Now look, we have as a country focused too much on gold. In fact, 95% of the value of our minerals comes from gold.
But we still have diamond.
Yes, but that is even not the... You see, as a country, we have focused on 4 minerals. I've said it on your platform before, and I'm repeating this. Manganese, diamond, gold, and then bauxite. These are the 4 minerals. But we have myriads of them. Some are industrial, some can link directly to our economy. A mineral like clay. Clay, when you go to China, the ceramics that are produced, the tiles and all those construction materials that are generated, they can be made out of clay, and we have abundance of that. But nobody's looking at that area.
That falls under mining also?
But sand is even under mining. Sand meaning is under mining. But the key point here is that if you look at this thing, the sea, solar salt. Ghana has the potential of producing solar salt, the quantity of which, if you take Ghana and Senegal, West Africa.
So why have we sat down?
Precisely because I think, of course, we have known ourselves as a gold coast, and there's a lot of gold in the country. There's no doubt about that. But you see, when you are reliant on a mono mineral, when you are reliant on one mineral, then you also become vulnerable to the price differences. Somebody will say the vicissitudes of price. When it changes, you benefit, goes high, you benefit. When it goes low, you lose. And now, I mentioned that in 2012, the mining generated 28% of internal revenue. Today, mining is generating only 16%. Why? Because gold price has taken a tumble, and we are it is hitting our balance sheet. It is hitting our income. So if we were so well balanced in terms of spreading the makeup of our mining portfolio, I mean our staple, then we would have clay providing something, mica providing something, solar salt also doing something, so that when we are hit by gold, we are not we are not dead and gone. So we are advocating I know the president, the minister of mines and natural resources, lands and natural resources, the minerals commission. We are keen at actually opening up the mineral base for people to look at those other areas. We need to diversify, because over concentration on one mineral, even if it's platinum, can always be dangerous.
What about the small scale mining?
Yes, I wasn't running away from that. Now, first of all, there are some people who think that small scale mining is illegal. No. Since 1988, in fact, Ghana took leadership, and Maggie said that Ghana is one of the innovative countries when it comes, and it is true. You go out to talk and everybody want to look at what Ghana thinks and all that. So Ghana took leadership in that, made laws that allowed for Ghanaians who were interested in doing small scale mining to do so. Now, since that time, we have seen the majority of operators. In fact, we have had a lot of people who have taken mineral titles to do small scale mining, but we have also seen people who are working outside the remit of the law. People who have consciously decided not to work within the law. It is like people who drive on the road but sometimes decide to drive on the shoulders of the road. Or
are these the person you term
the galamsees? Yes, there are some
different. Is it from?
They are different because they are working outside the rules of the game. They are working outside the law. The law is quite clear how you can go into small scale mining. For instance, the law even says that foreigners are not allowed to participate in small scale mining. They can participate in large scale, but not small scale mining. Yet you see foreigners from West Africa, from Africa, from Asia, from North America, participating in this area which is reserved for Ghanaians. And sometimes, unfortunately, we have our own colleagues also partnering in quote with them, because some people travel from far away, they come, but they go to villages that you and I don't know, and they start mining, and then they tell you, look, my boss brought me here, and the boss will be a Ghanaian. So I think this is creating a major problem. Both Ghanaians and non-Ghanaians who are mining outside the remit of the law, they are causing harm to the environment.
Did you touch on foreigners? Some foreigners, I don't want to mention nationalities, but some foreigners having turned themselves into rebel groups and pursuing the lives of Ghanaians. I mean, if you've come across media reportages.
I have heard about incidents like that. I cannot say on authority that there is a foreign rebel group doing.
I've seen pictures.
I cannot say on authority, but I have heard that there have been instances where there have been clashes between foreigners and local community people. But I have also seen a lot of the communities also entertaining some foreigners to do small scale mining in their communities. I have heard someone who said, in fact, one senior person somewhere said, when he went to his constituency, the chief of that area said, please help us to bring some, I won't name the country where those people come from, to help us mine over here. We need that. You see, we don't understand. Whereas we have the small scale mining dedicated to Ghanaians, we think we should bring others. Now we must understand it. We don't have to kick it out completely. We need to understand why Ghanaians are going out to bring foreigners to work with them, even though it is illegal. We don't have to dismiss it. Perhaps they don't have the capital to start with. So if they don't, then we should find ways and means of creating capital for them.
As CEO of Minerals Commission, is it difficult regulating the mining industry in Ghana? you have
not
serious
if you say mining industry, it is too
Small
big.
scale.
I think the large scale is not difficult to
Okay.
do because most of the companies are world-class companies. Ghana will be a small dot in their staple of mines that they have. They are listed on stock exchange. Of course, you may have the bad ones from yet and there, but these are not as difficult to control as the small scale because the sheer numbers. The sheer numbers. This morning we were speculating that the numbers would be in excess of 1 million people. So it's not easy. But I do not accept that we cannot control this. We must put our minds to it. The Minerals Commission is actively working on ways and means, and I'm sure with the approval of the minister eventually, we will come out with the policies that we think will revolutionize the small-scale mining sector. We think we should resolve the challenge because, you see, we cannot allow our waters to be polluted, continuously. We cannot allow the vegetation to be destroyed. We cannot allow people to die because they are looking for something to eat. And you hear this many times. People working in Galamsey, they are
falling
they are caving,
Caving,
and then they die and all that. And they are not 2-3 people. When the Galamsey says 10 people died, calculate 20 people because they don't want to tell the full numbers. Some of them believe that when there's death, the gold comes. They think gold is some spiritual thing. So when there's incidents of that nature, and then because they don't want more attention, they would reduce the numbers and then make the public feel it is a few. So I think as a nation, we should help those who want to do small-scale mining legally to do that legally. And we should also stop our involvement. And I'm talking about all of us from whatever level, whether you are a big man or a small man. We should stop helping illegal people to do illegal things. And then coming back to also blame other people. That's what happens generally.
Okay. Now back to you, Maggie.
Yes.
One of the complexities in the mining business in recent times, especially, is the issue of declining commodity pricing and rising costs of doing business and other things. I mean, are these being touched on at the summit? And
Yes.
what do you hope to?
Yes, these are, I would say, integral issues that mining companies need to tackle. We have a roundtable discussion, involving the mining houses to look at, how to manage these costs. How do you operate in an environment which has a negative, there's no optimism. So how do you operate in that environment? How do you keep your costs down? Your capital costs, your operating costs, and so on. So yes, it's a key topic, and
Do you think
we hope
governments
that
are-
they can share. And
Do you think governments are still? I mean, they are still into mining. Are they sustaining investments in mining? I mean, looking for new mining operations or so on and so forth.
Well, there are a lot of still unexplored, geological, areas and so on. For them, for the industry to invest in it and to get investment in to develop those areas, I think government should encourage that. That's my view. Should encourage more diversifications. In terms of different resource exploitation. Or to look at geological reserves.
Is mining, is gold a renewable resource? I've heard that gold after so many years come back to, so it
It's
never
gold
finishes.
renewable?
Yes. I
I don't know. No, it's gold renewable. I don't think gold is
He is
renewable.
shaking his
The
head.
sun, the solar energy is renewable. Gold is maybe that's how can gold be renewable?
Okay, so are the on Thursday? Who is speaking on Thursday?
Thursday we will have a panel to look at issues on finance. How to raise capital. We will have a panel looking at also at risk management. Look at tax issues, operational issues. So Thursday focus will be more operational. Today was a little bit more policy. Regulatory, and how mining companies, can look at becoming more resilient. So tomorrow we'll have more practical discussions on tax issues,
and
on
even
risk
before,
management issues.
Okay, even before it ends, would you try to make an assessment of the 7th WaCA Mining as
for us, we evaluate the success of the event on whether whether there is takeaway for the participants, whether we have got government officials there to enunciate, to clarify policies, whether there is a clear-cut presentation of some of the new developments that the industry need to look at. And then from the private sector, we hope that there will be innovation, technology. For instance, we brought in companies to showcase some of the interesting developments, interesting technology that could help to cut operating costs, for companies and so on. So we look at whether there is a merging, of ideas, sharing of best practices, and if that happens, then the event would be a success. But just by bringing the people together, I think it's already a success in that sense. Bring people from, let's say, we have people from Benin, Gabon, Senegal.
What was the attendance like today? I mean, this particular one.
Today, I guess today, if we look at visitors and all that, we probably will have about 400 people coming through today. But we expect the attendance to grow. At the event itself, we are also trying to bring in companies who just want to find out a little bit more about mining, to get an update on mining laws. For instance, this afternoon they will, the ministry will be just doing a short presentation to keep the mining community informed of the latest laws and regulation changes. And there will also be a session, like by Newmont, for instance, how do I qualify vendor? What do we look for when we procure, when we look at developing vendor relationship? So practical issues like that will be discussed.
Okay. Now, Doc, by way of policy, I mean, would you call for a modification of some existing policies, or what other policies do you think government should bring in to, change or move things forward?
Yes, policies are dynamic. They come, and then even laws. They come up when there are challenges, and now you anticipate a challenge and you create policy or laws to address those challenges. And then when they have outlived their usefulness, you change them. That's where the dynamism of policy comes in. And I think continuously you review your activities and then try to see what you can do. I think government has to, make some policy changes where, in the area of small-scale mining, for example. As I said, we are working on some internal policy changes that would be brought to the minister to have a look at, and at the commission level. For instance, we need to look at whether the definition of small-scale mining itself is enough at this time. If you look at the time when small-scale mining was legalized in 1989, I think the expectation was that people are going to use shovels and pickaxe and all that. So the laws were made to fit into that situation. Now we see that in small-scale mining, very few people are using pickaxe and shovels. They're using excavators. So how do you do policies to address those challenges? Do you do policies to entertain them and then expand the scope, or what? These are one of the things. For example, in the legal side of things, if people offended the law of small-scale mining, if somebody broke the law in a village somewhere, people doing mining illegally, and they are arrested, they must be trialed in the High Court according to the law, existing law. Okay. And most of our High Courts are in the district capitals or even regional capitals. So are you transferring that person from a pure village to that? So you need to address and see whether you will not give the magistrate courts the authority to do that. When people even offend the law because of that, the punishment could be just, I've seen someone who has been arrested for illegally mining and all that, and was asked to pay 60 Ghana cedis and go away. So do you deter the person well enough? How do you address those challenges? Now, how do you have a lot of equipment that are being used to speed up illegal activity. But when you seize these equipment, there's no law that says confiscate it. You know, there's no law. Unlike other laws that says, I mean, if a material or machine is used in committing a crime, or if you made a gain out of the crime activity, the law is quite clear that you are going to do A, B, C, D.
Exactly.
In the case of a small scale mine, it's not there. What do? Do you make the laws to address that? So we have made some proposals, some of which have already gone to Parliament, actually, particularly with the legal side of things. There are others that are being made internally to go through the normal system, and I'm sure we will share that when that is ready. And again, for a very long time, and I used to be a critic of it, I must say, we did not have a comprehensive national mining policy. Now, Ghana, we have our national mining, which the minister will launch at a point in time, which will be communicated. Cabinet has approved of the policy. So we now have let me say, a policy framework that we can make reference to, that this is within this is our vision.
What will be some of the areas that will be tackled?
I think the focus is more mining to be a catalyst for sustainable development, so that it's not only for revenue and all those, because that is so disjointed. Once you're looking for revenue, you get the revenue. That's it.
You don't consider the development aspect.
So I think now the policy looks, the vision policy looks more at sustainability, at development, and you know, of course, it doesn't preclude raising revenue and all that, but we look at the broader sense of using mining as a category. Because anywhere that mining has benefited people, it is not the mining alone, it is the catalyst that it has created. If you look at, I've used this example time and again, San Francisco, California, it was a mining village. Now if you go there, you will not even remember that it has ever been, but it grew out of mining. You know, Western Australia has grown out of mining.
Exactly. Now, one of the major challenges in recent times is also the fact that anytime there's a tumble in the world price of minerals, some of these larger mining companies tend to, sack workers, to speak. Yes, and did you consider this? I mean, before I come to Maggie, have you considered this as a challenge, and what should be done to save locals their
I think there are business decisions that have social implications. For example, if BTA, if the owner of BTA sees the cost of running BTA to be far outweighing the benefit, unless it is a charitable organization, it will take steps to restructure. It will take steps to restructure.
Should the restructure be always targeted at getting rid of people?
It might unfortunately lead to maybe some of the programs being cancelled, and if some of the programs are cancelled, those who host the programs may not be available. Now let me extend it to the mining side. In times when mining is booming, when gold price is high and all that, you see a lot of exploration companies. A lot of them, most apart from the genius or the exploration companies, you have the seniors, the big ones, also having exploration wings, and therefore employing more people to do exploration because they know that gold price is high, they want more. Now, as soon as gold price goes down, they do not see the benefit of exploring, because exploration is just speculative. You are digging to see if you find gold. So oftentimes they close their exploration wing, and so people there naturally, some of them will be brought into the mainstream, some of them will have to go. So it is the unfortunate side of these business decisions that occurs.
That affects the value chain.
It's always. But see, when the mining is booming, you see employment goes up. If you look at when the numbers started going up, it was more about gold price going up and then more people coming in. So it is very unfortunate that when gold price comes down and then the cost of production, according to the operators, is high, they take decisions that may include, and in fact, in the past, Ghana has experienced, and the whole world, all the mining constituencies in the world have experienced significant job cuts. Significant job cuts. Not.
Shouldn't mining operations or operators diversify some of their activities?
Because they came to do mining. They came to do mining. So if they want to do diversify, they will do that. But if they don't want, you may not force them to do that.
Well, can't there be a policy to compel them to do that?
No. Somebody has come with his investment. I want to do mining. You have given him the right to do mining. It is our responsibility to encourage local content, to ensure that the things that we need in mining. And I tell you, if you look at the expenditure of mining companies, the bulk of it is not the profit they make. The bulk is the purchases they make, the expenditure, the bulk, because most of the input are bought. So imagine a significant amount being sent outside to buy things. If those amounts were spent inside, to there will be establishment of manufacturing companies that will supply them. There will be many other companies. So it is for our policies and our implementation of the policy to ensure that most of the input that we need in mining, we do that. Or maybe resource some Ghanaian mining tycoons or raise money to go into it, so we face the risk and get the benefit as well. You cannot always say, can't you use government to do this? Can't you use government? It is not the order of the day these days. I mean, globally, you have to be very careful how to combine the two. You want them, but you don't want them to cheat you. You want them, you don't want them to cheat you. But we also have to play our role. Make sure that we take advantage of our minerals here.
Okay, we have to round up very soon. But before we do that, Maggie, could you tell me, I don't know whether you've also realized that it's a new trend that is coming up in Ghana. Some people are fast cocoa farmers and practitioners are fast giving away their land for small-scale activities, and this is endangering the agricultural sector.
Yes.
What's your take on that? Is it happening everywhere?
Yeah, it happens everywhere in all developing countries. It's the price you pay for economic progress as well. Where landowners, for short-term gain, for short-term material gain, make decisions like that. So I think it's all about education. It's about how you educate the investment value, to that community.
Doc, can we have a policy to check that? Our cocoa farmers
there's a policy.
It's a personal,
There's a policy, but if you say most of the things that happen in that way is often the galamsey side.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't even tell, they go straight. And even the large-scale mining companies also do the same thing. They may have the concession and then they have impact on cocoa sector, which is quite worrying.
I was at the Kwabing Boma area recently, and I saw it, and so amazing.
That's quite worrying. But as he said, it's always, it's difficult to, first the farmer, some of the farmers, unfortunately, maybe out of lack of education or perhaps the perception that their benefit is not that high, they quickly, some of them will come, is the mine not coming to my place? Because they get immediate bulk money. And then the danger is that once they get the bulk money, it is probably not invested well. So then it creates poverty. So I think it's an area that we need to look at very carefully. We need to look, because it's sort of exchange of values. You are exchanging your value in cocoa for exchange of value in gold or something.
So you weigh the two and see.
And I think we need to, as a country, we need to look at that.
Exactly, it's
very
carefully. Quite dangerous.
But you also have to look at the cost and benefits. What is the cost of selling your cocoa now and the benefits in 10 years? Whatever, all these things must be looked at. And then
thank you very much. I would call for a second part of this program, because there are so many. When it comes to mining, there are many things. We can't exhaust all within one particular platform like this. So definitely we will call for another time. And thank you so much, Maggie Tan, the CEO of Magenta Global PTE, and Dr. Tony Orban is the CEO of the Minerals Commission. We're still live on BTA, and we're taking a break here. When we come back, Samuel Ampa will continue with the rest of the program.